Hello, welcome back. I've got another ink review video for you today. This one is by the Birmingham Pen Company, and this one is called Dogbane Beetle. And this is an interesting color. At least it looked interesting on the website. And this is a larger bottle. It comes in this really big jug. And I don't know if you could tell, but down here, the color that's coming through, it looks purple. So I do not think that this is a purple ink, but I think it has shimmer, so I'm going to go ahead and shake this up. In fact, I should use the stir plate and see how that works on these bottles. Let's do that. I'll be right back. Okay, so if you didn't see my stir plate video, the purpose of this is to get the shimmers to evenly disperse throughout the ink, and what I put in there was a little tiny stir rod. And then you just turn this on, and it does make a little bit of a noise because the stir rod is spinning on the glass down there. And so I'll have to turn this off at some point in the video so it doesn't become too irritating. But what this does is it mixes up all the shimmers so I don't have to shake the bottle each time. But what I'm going to do is turn this off real quick, and I'm just going to put the lid back on and turn it upside down and see if that worked to disperse the shimmers. And I'm going to check real quick. Be right back. Sorry about that, I'm back now. Okay, so it did need a little bit more shaking, so I went ahead and did that. This has been sitting on my shelf for a little bit of time. I think it just needed a little help. But I am going to turn this back on, and hopefully we will see, because there's so much liquid. Yep, there it goes. Okay, so it is mixing, so that the size of the stir rod is fine. This was a little bit of an experiment because I haven't used them in this type of ink before in this larger bottle. So let me turn this off so it doesn't make too much noise, and we'll do the swatch really quick. Hopefully I don't knock anything over. And then I will go ahead and use that stir rod in between just so that I don't have to shake the bottle, because I'm always worried that I'll make a mess. And also it makes a lot of bubbles, and the bubbles, when you shake the ink and it makes all those bubbles, there's nothing really wrong with that, but oh, look how cool that is. It turned the water neon green. That's crazy. Okay, but there's really nothing wrong with, shaking it and making the bubbles, other than sometimes it'll affect, your pen being able to pick up the ink because the bubbles get in the way. Yeah, so that's why I'd prefer to use this method if possible. All right, I'm just giving that a minute. I should just leave it in one spot. I'm trying to find the center. There we go. That looks good. All right, let me turn this off again. And this one is Twinkle. It's by Birmingham Pen Company. Okay, so this looks good. I am definitely going to put this under the fan to dry because I have a feeling that that's going to take a little while. So let me do that. I'll be right back. Okay, so while that dries, I went ahead and turned this back on. Let me move it over slightly so we have a bit more space. I know you can't see it, but all right, let's put this here. Okay, get that out of the way. All right, I'm going to turn off this stir so that it doesn't make noise while we do this. So this is just plain copy paper, and as you know, I like to use the copy paper just to test and see how the ink will perform, because sometimes you don't have access to your nicer papers. Or maybe you just prefer to use cheap paper and you want to know how the ink is going to perform and see if it's worth getting. All right, so this is Dogbane Beetle Twinkle. And this is copy paper. All right, if I could write properly today, that'd be good. Okay, so far, of course, the shimmers are going to come through. No feathering or anything, really. That looks pretty good, actually. All right, so let me turn this back on to remix this so we can get a fair test. And we will try this also on some HP32. I'll turn this off here. There we go. And HP32 paper is really nice. It's another type of copy paper, but it's smooth, so the writing experience itself is better, and also it tends to resist the ink, so the ink gets a chance to show off some of its properties before it dries. in most cases. So this is a really nice paper to use. There we go. And this is HP 32. And so far this is a really nice brown. Let's just draw some lines here and see how this looks as it dries. And if there are any other colors that you'd like to see me try, leave a comment down below, and if I have it or if I can get it, then we'll make a video review of it. There we go. Alright, and here is the Tomo River, and just like before, we're going to turn this on and get those shimmers shimmered up and mixed in really well. There we go, that looks good. Alright. Okay. So this is the Tomo River paper, and it's really, really smooth like the HP 32, and it's a lot thinner though, and it resists the ink. So again, if there's special effects, a lot of times on Tomo River you'll get to see those special effects. Alright, and this is Tomo River. And also, if you like these videos and want to see more, don't forget to like and subscribe to support the channel. There we go. And we'll give this a second. I'm going to check on that swatch as well. And rinse this off real fast. Probably need to give this a second or two to dry. And I'm just going to leave that stir rod inside here. It does two things. One is if I don't have my stir plate, I can still rotate this around to kick up the shimmers at the bottom. And if I do have my stir plate, then I can just set it on here without having to add another rod to it. So I'll put that out of the way. And I'm going to go grab that swatch and I'll be right back. Okay, and I'm back. So first of all, I'd like to say that this ink took a little bit longer to dry on the swatch than some of the other inks. And that may just be due to how much I put on there. So I don't know. But here's how it looks on copy paper. So this is excellent for copy paper. If you like this ink and if you only have cheap paper on hand, this is great. No bleeding through except here where I made the big swatch. The color is really pretty. You even get to see some shading in here, which is not normal for copy paper. Quite a bit of shading actually. And it has shimmers that of course show up. Shimmer inks typically will always show the shimmers even on, you know, cheap paper like this copy paper. And it's a very pretty cool toned shimmer, and the ink is like a brown and gold kind of, very pretty, very neat color, and it does great on the copy paper, which is great. So this is HP 32 paper, and just like the copy paper, you get to see lots of that shading, lots of shimmers, and that really pretty brown color that's in here. This is a very good, very well performing ink, especially considering the different paper options that I put it on. And you can see there's almost no difference between these two papers and how it performed, other than the smoothness of the writing, like the feel of the writing as you're writing with it. And that's because of the paper. And then here it is on the Tomo River. And again, it's a really nice shade of brown, lots of shimmer, and very, very nice shading on this as well. And trying to get it to pick up. So this is going to be a little bit different than on the swatch because it's hard for me to show this without, or explain this without showing you. So here is the swatch, and I hope the camera picks it up, but there is definitely a very obvious green sheen. And down here in the writing, and around here where the ink was laid down a little heavier, you could definitely see that very clearly in the writing as well. And then there's the shimmers. And very pretty color. So on the Tomo River paper, that green does show up, but it's down here at the ends, and I don't know if the camera is going to pick that up. Just in certain spots, like right here, you can kind of see it in here where I laid the ink down a little heavier. You can see it a little bit. So I think just because of how I was writing, if you wanted to see all that really pretty green sheen, then you're probably going to need to use a pen that lays down a lot of ink. That's my guess. just by the test that we did here. But this is a beautiful ink, and I really like this one. If you want to get some of this, I will leave a link down below where you can get it, and if it's in stock, then you'll be able to pick some up. So I hope you enjoyed this review video, and thank you so much for watching. You have a great day.